Chaarat Gold is a gold mining company. It has development projects in the Kyrgyz Republic, and it's announced an equity issue package raising £1.8 million. I'm delighted to be joined by the Chief Financial Officer, David Mackenzie. So, David, what will the proceeds be used for?
Hi, Sarah. The placing is mainly for two things. It's firstly for the costs incurred when we complete the financing, which is coming up in Q1 24. So we needed to get some funds in to pay for those costs that are incurred while we go through the financing process. We still have 3 million out of the 5 million working capital facility in place, so it's not a requirement to raise the funds for working capital, but more for those one-off costs in relation to the upcoming fundraising event.
Tell me a bit about that fundraising event. It's interesting that you have to pay to get funds in.
Yeah, it is interesting, but it's just a requirement to get that sort of war chest together, really, so that when we do get the fundraising completed, we're able to just basically give an expedited process. We'll be able to go out and get lawyers, we'll be able to get our project finance team. We won't have to be concerned about staging anything, we'll be able to get it done very quickly. The money was raised through our new retail brokers, Access Capital, who are very good. They went out and found 15 or 20 new investors for us. It will also give us liquidity in the stock, which we've had problems with because we've just got such a strong shareholder base that most holders are holding on to their stock and not selling it. So we wanted to be able to get the stock more traded.
I was going to ask who participated in the fundraise, because there is this perception that it's the chairman's, the chief executive's support alone that is propping up the company's finances.
Yeah, look, in the past, that has been possibly the case. Martin has always been very supportive of the company as chairman and CEO. He is a 50% basically owner of the company. He has provided working capital facilities in the past. But what we really wanted to do is reach out to new retail investors and give them a chance to get in at what is a very good price as we go into this new exciting phase of building Tulkubash.
The new exciting phase of building Tulkubash. I've spoken to previous iterations of management in Chaarat Gold, and it's been Tulkubash, Tulkubash, Tulkubash. So what is the timetable for Tulkubash?
Well, there were 3 steps that we wanted to get done before we could really give some firm opinions on when Tulkubash was going to be completed. So first of all, we needed to get PowerChina in so that we've got an EPC contract done. We've done that. We also wanted to get our mining contractor and our O&M provider done. We've done that with PowerChina. We've also wanted to look at, extending the mine life of the project. At the moment, just on reserves, it's about a 6-year project. Then there's a couple of years of resources, but we've just finished some drilling in our Chaarat asset exploration target. That is now looking very promising, and we're looking at possibly extending out to a 10+ year mine life, which is going to be excellent for financing this project. The third string on this process is the government support. We've had very strong government support from the Kyrgyz government. We signed an MOU with them last week, and everything's really lining up nicely now.
So you mentioned the Chaarat drilling there. Chaarat drilling intercepts. I read that investor update in November, and it said it adds significantly to the resource. I just want to know, when will the markets expect to know the final results of the drilling campaign?
So we've done further drilling in 2023, and we will be looking to update the market with a JORC compliant MRE statement in January 24. So that's only a month or 2 away. That will give us that firm indication to add to our economic profile, which will make Tulkubash even more attractive.
Talk to me about the economic profile, because in the investor update, the company outlined the oil reserves and the resources collectively. What do they mean economically in headline terms for nearer term and longer term revenue for the company?
Good question. I'm not going to go into the details of economics because there's a lot of different factors to that, and it gets quite complex. But some of the top line numbers that you could look at is that we have 647,000 reserves. ounces in the ground. That's about 1.2 billion in revenue by itself. If we took the 1,011 resources in Tulkubash alone, that's 2 billion. If you took that plus Kiziltash, you're talking about 13 billion of revenue in the ground. Now, we all know that that's in the ground. So, you have to take the ISIC of about $1,000 an ounce off that, but it's still very healthy economics. And there is another way of looking at it, which is, what's a realistic view of value in the ground? Well, studies have done $20 to $30, $40 per ounce in the ground. What does that give to a market cap? Well, at $20, which is the lowest of that range, the market cap should still be around $130 million. Today we're at 55 million. So that sort of demonstrates how we're undervalued at this time.
You mentioned Kiziltash there. I know we're talking about Tulkubash, but Kiziltash, what's happening with that asset, and will any of the recently raised finances be apportioned to it?
The short answer is no. We're fully focused on getting the near-term Tulkubash asset into production. We need to get that construction started in Q2 24. That's the near-term 18 months build time. Get that built, and then we'll be focusing on Kiziltash in parallel when we're constructing Tulkubash. At the moment, we've got to be very clear in our goals. Our goal at the moment is getting construction of Tulkubash completed. So we're focused on doing the fundraising for Tulkubash alone, and that's what the funds are going to be used for. Kiziltash will require a feasibility study, and that will be done during the construction of Tulkubash.
Okay, so the construction of Tulkubash, it couldn't be done without the very strong partnership that you have with Power China. How is that relationship going, and are there other relationships of that nature coming on board?
So Power China, they are going to be our EPC contractor with a fixed price contract, not to exceed, which is brilliant. They're going to be our mining contractor. They're going to be our O&M contractor. Other than that, we are going to be doing all the other work ourselves internally. We'll be operating the project. So we don't see any other contracts being required at this point. The next big contract that will go out will be the feasibility study of Kiziltash, because that will be a significant amount of work. Ongoing, we also do further drilling into our Ishgaldi exploration target alongside Karator. Karator is 2 kilometers up the road, so that's very easy to integrate into the Tulkubash project. Ishgaldi is about 5 kilometers up the road, and we'll be looking to do drilling next year on that target.
Okay, so you've got the funds prior to the big fundraising event next year. You've got the schedule, you've got the relationships with Power China, but really none of it would be possible without the government being behind the company. You talked about the memorandum of understanding there. Mm-hmm. What does the Kyrgyz administration expect from the MOU that it's signed with you? What will it get?
Well, interestingly, the Deputy Minister of Natural Resources of Kyrgyzstan actually published an article today, and that had a lot of quotes around him stating that, Chaarat is they're fully supportive of Chaarat starting construction next year. They are obviously looking forward to this because it signals to the market and the international market that, they are open for business. They state in that article that, international investors have a favorable business environment. It's a good climate for investment. And they go on to state that in the south of Kyrgyzstan, the Chaarat Gold deposit will be developed next year. And they're looking forward to seeing, quite frankly, the 80 tons of gold that they mention in that article getting out of the ground, paying royalties. We've got a good royalty system with them, which is the same as all other companies. And they're going to earn that tax revenue. They're also going to have continued support socially, and there's going to be a lot of jobs generated from this project.
So finally, Tulkubash, will it be a company and a credibility maker for Chaarat?
It will. And also it'll just signal to the international community that Kyrgyzstan is supportive of these types of projects, and hopefully it'll go wider than that and bring further investment into the country.
David Mackenzie, Chief Financial Officer of Chaarat Gold, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thanks, Sarah.